Hey, what's up, Aurora? What's up, John Elton? How you doing? John Elton, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, I just downloaded this game yesterday. Thought I would get into some, casual, like, let's play some soccer, like just nice hanging out kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, like, I got like a Steam gift card for Christmas, and it was on sale. It was only $20. Um, I was like, what am I actually gonna get with Steam? When's the last time I played a sports game? I used to play like sports games as a kid. I didn't play too many soccer games. I think the like Mega Man Soccer was like, like the last one I actually played. Um, or maybe it was, well, there was World Cup on the NES that was made by the same developers as Dodgeball. You don't have Depression anymore? Nice, nice, nice. Okay, I'm just like setting these keyboard things. I'm also trying, I need to set this sound. Soccer can get pretty hectic. I mean, yeah, it's intense. I got some yerba mate. I just made it like brewed normally. I actually don't know where my bombilla is. Yeah, I just said it's yerba mate. That's good timing. Good timing, Aurora. How are you doing? And you were the first one here today. I'm just trying to. I don't know exactly. I mean, we can always figure out settings later. Um, no. Balls within close proximity. Yeah, we got some yerba mate. I brewed it at 167 degrees Celsius, not Celsius, 167 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, over a overtop filter, not a paper filter, a metal filter, a mesh filter. Um, and after it went through once, I poured it through again. So it's a twice brewed over the top mesh filter yerba mate. It's playadito. I think that's what, Little Beach. Okay, so basically, let me set the sound up. First of all, yeah. Oh, I was trying to look for graphics. Yeah, let's make sure it's low. Apply. Okay. Yeah. Display. Borderless. Yeah. Why is it only half frame rate? Okay. Okay, audio. There we go. Okay, yeah, that avoids copyright. Raise the intensity over atmospheric crowd. No, we don't need to do that. Uh, commentary team. I guess. Sideline commentary. What about the audio? See, here's the thing is, the audio's. Hey, Logan, how you doing? You waiting 7 hours for your boyfriend to be online? I hope he gets online soon, Aurora. I hope so. I think I need to actually open up the volume mixer and set it to D. Okay, yeah, there it is. But also, how come it... If I tab out, you don't get the sound. But I guess I can't change that. I think that should be fine. Competitive gameplay camera, exclusive to Ultimate Team. Cameras only available stadiums. Okay. Single player camera. Offline and online single player 11v11. I guess. What's end to end there? Oh, that's like when you're going that way. Like Rocket League style or whatever. I don't know. This is pro camera. This is broadcast. Legacy. This is tactical. No, let's do a broadcast camera. For local multiplayer. I mean, yeah, let's just do a tactical. Right? Oh no, let's do broadcast. Um the hell? I don't know about broadcast. Yeah, let's just use tactical. So you can see the whole thing? Or I don't know. Let's see what that is. Be a goalkeeper camera? I don't know. Dynamic camera treatment on for power shots? Uh okay. I think we'll try that out. See how it goes. Let's get our music going. Yeah, because we can't use the game music because of copyrights, I guess. I thought for a second maybe it was like already like dealt with that way. I gotta play ads on Twitch. Failed to play ad? What? Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, there we go. I hope you guys have a good vibe. We're gonna try this game out. See how it goes. Oh yeah, let me load up different chat. Okay, we should be good. Huh. We should be good. Okay. Let's just... Online settings? Okay, we gotta do... Okay, I guess. Okay. Privacy settings, what's that? Okay. Yeah, let's share usage data. Okay. Create player. Edit teams. What? Let's just see how it goes before we go into deep editing mode. Okay, so quick matches. Okay, let's start with just well, let's not do learn to play. Yeah, we got to go through the fundamentals, okay? During the opening match, difficulty level, auto adjust, okay. Use ground passes, right mouse button to move the ball from player to player. Okay. Every reason to believe this will be enthralling. My name is Derek Ray, and sitting alongside me, ready to provide all the analysis, is Stuart Robson. Hey, what's up, Cyril? With the potential to bring... Oh. How do you see this one going?
Yes, thanks as always. We've got two good teams here, so I'm anticipating a really good game. The atmosphere is electric inside the stadium before kick-off, and hopefully we're not disappointed.
Really good improvised goalkeeping. That's a good bit of kicking there. Good bit of ball winning. Well, nobody taking charge on the possession front.
No! Oh.
She's missed it, and what a glorious chance it was.
Well, she knows it. That should have been a goal there.
Yikes. Good thing she missed. Okay. Ah. Okay, control it.
Can she find the right pass? Oh, big chance! Marvelous anticipation.
What the hell? Oh, Ed. Okay, I use the mouse to aim. Okay, I was trying to use WASD to move. Okay, I get it. That's why I was kicking and stuff. I'm like, what? It's because the mouse is moving. Okay, I get it. I was having a hard time understanding. The mouse is aiming the characters. There's no way you're playing my childhood game. Yeah, Markintosh. Hey, welcome back. I miss you so much, Markintosh. It's been quite a while. I haven't seen your name in chat in so long. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Things are getting pretty exciting over here. I don't know when the last time you were here was. A crime? Yeah, can we just, the default was keyboard and mouse. And so I'm just gonna do that. Long time, yeah, for real. Some things have been going on. I don't want to be like too. I don't want to be like preemptive here, but things are starting to move forward with housing pretty soon, most likely. Oh, what am I doing? Why did I do a big lob there?
Too easy, far too easy. Tanaka. And teammates around her.
Ah!
Putting it wide from there. Disappointing.
Life's been lifing. I don't know when the last time you were here was, but if you haven't been here in 2 years, well, in 2024, March 28th, 2024, I had my vaginoplasty. I don't know if you've been here since then. That was a bad pass. Oh, it's been a couple of months. Okay, yeah, sorry. I've just been. Was it when I was really deeply into the end of the pre, like in the pre-patch of Burning Crusade, or towards the end of there of Vanilla? I got level 61 warrior. I'm taking a little bit of a break right now. Not familiar, but yeah, I know what you mean. Sorry, it's like sometimes I haven't seen a name for a while. And I'm not sure what they know and what they don't know. I'm sorry for that.
Got into position brilliantly.
Okay, here we go.
Nice attacking play. Well, a long-range effort.
Towards the beginning? Oh, okay.
For the goalkeeper.
Yeah, sorry I haven't caught you in a while. I'm glad that you're here.
And pressing from the front. Bit sloppy there.
Oh no!
And a
I have no idea what I'm doing here.
well worth, I think, at this stage. Going back to the chance from earlier.
We need some yerba mate for this. Open the My Tactics. What? I don't know what this is. You know, honestly, I think I need to change the settings. I think keyboard only, probably. Keyboard and mouse is weird. This is legacy control? Okay. It's probably better, to be honest. Also, let's change render scaling. I think I need to lower the graphics. Yeah, render scale. Yeah, let's lower the render scale. Probably. Playing FIFA on keyboard and mouse? Well, I mean... Okay, WASD, ground pass, L. Okay, oh yeah, there we go.
Intelligent defending.
That looked a really big chance. Well, the hosts have had
Lots of settings to change. Yeah.
a real threat going forward, but they must take one of these chances while they're having this good period that you do sense it's coming.
Yes, it's going to plan, and they might be able to carve out another chance. And tidy defensive play. To give them the advantage.
Am I on the wrong side?
They really ought to have put them in front.
I'm on the wrong side.
Put them in the driving seat.
I was trying to shoot into my own goal. What am I doing? I'm trying to shoot into my own goal. What is going on? I do think I need keyboard and mouse. Oops. I already changed a lot of the stuff, but yeah, graphics. I do have it on low. Is this your first time? Yeah, it's my first time. We're playing EA Sports FC 26.
Time tackle.
Okay, I was trying to shoot into the wrong score.
So a throw in here.
I mean, I was trying to shoot into the wrong goal. Oh my goodness.
They couldn't keep hold of it.
Oh no, what? How come the goal changed?
Well, the intention was admirable, but just a bit too much on it in the end. And that'll be a throw in.
It was admirable. I have no idea what I'm doing.
And getting enough on the ball to steer it away.
Huh.
Teammates available. Oh, this is looking promising.
What? How come both sides are...
High and
Which side is mine and which side is theirs? They're wearing the same jersey. They're both wearing white jerseys. What is going on? I don't understand what's going on.
so 2 minutes of stoppage time here. Good one, very much in control of the situation.
Very much in control of the situation. Which is not me.
Well, that's a top quality save. Great anticipation.
And so it is, the first half story has been written.
Yeah, it's a story. The first half story has been written. Goalies can wear different colored stripes? But like, why were they wearing the same color as mine? I don't know which one is mine.
So off and running again, and I must say,
Why aren't they wearing yellow to show that it's theirs?
is to come.
I think it switches now because it's the halftime. Okay. I'm pretty sure.
Well, breaking at pace is always a possibility. It could be on for her. Takes it.
Yay! Oh wait.
Clinical counter-attack, and so close to a goal.
Well, that's
I don't know which side is mine and which side is theirs. Okay, there, I can see the very little teeny tiny emblem on her chest. They change at halftime, yeah, so now I have to go to the right side. Ah. Oh, that was not a good kick. It's a nice pass, but I think the kick was a little too, what the?
And there's the delivery.
Oh no.
They press them high, and here they come.
Oh, so now it's switch side again?
And teammates around her.
How come she's wearing a black jersey? Is that a referee? I'm like, why are the players wearing individual jerseys? I'm like, you tried to score against yourself? What? Huh? What am I doing?
We're using the space really well, but now can they push on? Oh, she's in a really promising position. And the goalkeeper will claim it. And support available. But goalkeeper's ball.
That was ridiculous.
Effective challenge. Huff. On to Pickett. And the ruling
What?
outside here.
Is there traveling?
So a personnel change then.
Oh, substitution. America first. Was that a tackle? I have no idea. I have no what I'm doing.
Strong but fair tackle. Now, can she put this one away? Well, really
Too much power.
today, but I wonder if the shot choice was wrong.
Yeah, she hit it with power, but not the accuracy.
She did it with power, but not the accuracy. That explains me, like, every day. I'm a little too much. You passed a player too far ahead. I'll get it. Probably won't.
Playing with a blow and intensity, but timely defending when it mattered. Ready to break perhaps?
Too hard.
Like that,
I'm holding it too long.
long in the memory.
Well, poor decision, bad technique, and a waste of a very good situation.
A waste of a very good situation. Okay, so the movement is player centric. So if I'm moving faster, further away with the mouse.
Fizzles out.
Okay, the mouse, the cursor position matters. Okay, relative to the player.
But quick thinking defensively.
Okay, she seems to be like a star sprinter. 'Cause that's all.
Decent effort.
Oh, sheesh! 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 My first goal!
Postal code. That was as clean as a whistle.
That was my first goal!
Any better than that?
Let's go!
Well, here it is again, and just look at this. It's such good technique.
It's such good technique! No need to blast it from far. Well, she does. she's a star. I'm a star. I'm a star. I'm a star.
So underway again here, and this game really needed that goal. And he's hit it with authority.
Never mind.
Pretty easily in the end. And pressing from the front. Yanni Thompson. And we're inside the final 15 minutes. We're making considerable progress with the ball. Oh, that's a really important touch on the ball. Fine goalkeeping.
MLS? What does that even mean? Hey, what's up, Samuel? Are you suddenly Seymour, Samuel? Are you suddenly Samuel? Aim the camera. Move mouse movement to pan the camera horizontally. Are you suddenly Samuel? Position middle mouse button. What? Plus mouse movement to apply spin? Oh, I can do spin. Okay. Oh, that's for... What? Okay.
No one able to do any damage with it. Pressure is on.
Oh no. No! Suddenly Samuel.
Simply wide.
Suddenly Samuel. Suddenly Samuel. 6767. Shima Saeed. Oh, what's up? What's up, Shima Saeed? How you doing? 6-7. Oh, is that a soccer reference? Like, was there a special team that, like, a game that ended up as 6-7?
Well, doesn't have to do it on her own.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, good looking run.
I tried to pass it to the goalie.
Quite make it happen. And the keeper making sure there were no scraps for them to beat on.
Yeah, don't beat on my straps, bro.
Getting it forward. But
Don't beat on my straps.
well, she didn't miss
We are back.
in the end.
What's up, Dubcon? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? We're playing some football. We're playing some football. You like to kick that ball with your foot? Because the rest of the world calls football and attaches it to a sport that makes sense with that name? Like, if anything, shouldn't boxing be called soccer? Because you're socking them, right? Like, what is with the sports names? How come we call football soccer? And how come we call boxing boxing instead of soccer? You can help me? Nice. How come we don't call boxing soccer? That's the, like, how come we call soccer football, but we don't call boxing soccer? That doesn't make any sense.
Surely this will inspire the players to hang on.
Boxing should be called soccer. What made you pick up FC? I don't know. I googled which, like, the latest soccer game was. I thought it was called FIFA still, but it's called EA Sports now. I mean, it's called EA Sports FC. Ah, what was all those things? There was like all these like stats.
And the referee has deemed that an additional 4 minutes are in order.
An additional 4 minutes.
Teammates available.
I know that.
Well, plenty of green space to run into. And I'm not sure everyone expected that sort of approach from there.
That was a really clean strike. Certainly a good effort.
The anal queen? I mean, what is somebody gonna throw like a special dildo onto the field? Oh wait, that's basketball. Sorry. Those are against the rules in soccer. That's not part of the special rules. Okay.
Well-timed tackle. This could be it.
No.
And there goes the final whistle. And the home fans are going to be
The Don Daithi. You're good at soccer? So you're good at boxing? Or are you good at football? What's with the naming of sports? Like basketball makes sense because it's a ball that goes into a basket. Football makes sense because it's a ball you can only control with your foot.
regards what she put into the game.
Well, she scored one and could have had a lot more. But if you
Rugby makes sense because it's really rugged.
I thought she was very good today.
Association football is where soccer comes from. Based on your performance, recommend beginner difficulty. That wasn't beginner? That was too easy? I mean, that was even easier? So that's how bad I was. Oops, why did I quit match? Oh. I guess we're just gonna play a new one. Shoot, left mouse button.
Welcome to you, and thanks for joining us for another game live on EA.
So like, how can we call the game that you shoot a ball into a basket is called basketball? A game where you can only move and control the ball with your foot is called football. How come we call boxing boxing? How come we don't call boxing soccer? Like rugby makes sense because you play rugby, you have to be rugged. But boxing, why is it not called soccer? Soccer. Like how come we don't call boxing soccer? Why do we call football soccer? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Suddenly Samuel, I don't know if you can help me or not. I don't know if that's possible. A hole in one? Yeah, golf. Why do we call it golf? Why don't we call it bang it with a stick? Like I don't understand these naming conventions, okay? What the hell was that? What the hell was even that? Am I going into the wrong goal again? Did the goals change because it's a new game? We'd beat both teams by a landslide? Oh, especially if you're playing uphill. And your goal is on the top of the hill. And theirs on the bottom. You just roll. You just let the ball roll. Let the ball roll into their goal. Okay, I can see on the bottom of the map. I can see on the bottom of the screen now. Now I know which goal is mine and which one is theirs. Mine is the triangle. Theirs is the circle. I have a white triangle. Those are my teammates. The yellow circles are their teammates. I get it now. Now I will never know. Now I will never forget which one is mine and which one is theirs. I hit it too hard again. Ball games. Yeah, kick those balls, bro. Through ball forward. Yeah, through ball forward. That's what you should call golf. No, call it stick ball. Club ball. Because you hit it with a club. Oh, I tried to pass it to the goalie.
And there won't be any rebounds there.
No rebounds, bitch.
Ball given away.
Really? Are you serious? No!
Over the line. Throw it.
Balls control. Hey, iLeaks. How you doing? AYLXE. AYLXE. It's like your name is letters, but it sounds like it's like 10 letters.
This has to be.
A what? A while. A Wilexy. A Wilexy. It's like you have like 20 letters in your name, but you only have 5 letters in your name. That's advanced naming conventions right there. A Wilexy.
Deceptive, great reading of the game.
What? I didn't want to pass to her.
Through possession lost.
Panel? Yeah, that was... what the hell?
Forward here.
Jesus Christ, you guys are crazy. You prefer trans girls? Well, I'm, good for you. I'm, just not to get your hopes up, I am not a dick girl. I got a pussy. Okay, so I know that a lot of people who prefer trans women, they probably like dick girls, but I'm sorry, I'm not a dick girl anymore. Isn't it so amazing I can say that? Isn't that crazy? Ah!
Careless.
That bitch.
Making good progress here. Oh, good defending. Just when it was
I do have a soccer ball and a basketball. We have done that on stream before. I've done an IRL stream, and I was playing around on the soccer field. So maybe one day, if we play this game long enough, it'll migrate into IRL streams, and we'll play soccer in real life.
on for the highlights.
I am athletic, so maybe one day I'll be on a soccer team.
From that sort of distance.
You know what I think the future of sports is, outside of like extremely high competitive specific leagues? Like obviously there should always be like a men's league and like a women's league, and hopefully someday there's enough out trans people that we can actually have trans leagues. That would be kind of crazy. But right now it's kind of like mixed media, like hopefully if sports can become like integrative enough, there could be more like mixed gender teams. Where it's like you have to have a certain amount of like, certain people of certain biology. You can only have one in this position, one in this position. Like, it's 11v11, right?
And it's saved and held.
It's like 11v11. So that means that on your team, you have to have a certain composition per team of like multiple genders or something. That would be crazy. To make it like super balanced so that you don't like, oh, let's just make our team all men, even though it's supposed to be mixed gender. No trans women, no cis women, just only cis men. Like, I mean, honestly, like, I know like it's been researched heavily, and maybe I'm being like overly optimistic or overly favoring women, but I do think that women have strengths that men don't, and men have strengths that women don't. Like the female body is suited to different tasks, and the male body is suited to different tasks. And you add like, okay, so I know it's kind of controversial, but honestly, like transgenders, like hormones and stuff, especially after surgeries that remove like testosterone producing things. Honestly, I have lower testosterone than most women.
Lost it needlessly, really.
So, and my body, like my muscle mass is like reduces, my bone density is like lower. In fact, it's like dangerous. I mean, I'm not dangerous in the sense that it's like life-threatening, but like
Didn't miss by a great deal.
I have to be very careful with making sure I get plenty of like, what is it, vitamin D, like, or all the stuff that like calcium and stuff like that, magnesium, vitamin D, to make sure that bone density to prevent like osteoporosis. You know, I know people are like, there obviously should always be more research. We need a lot more research. I would be very much in favor of more research, because it would mean that people would get rid of their stigma about trans people. Because I think in reality, maybe there are rules that might have to be put in place, but maybe there aren't. In fact, maybe we might need to be less strict on trans inclusion in sports. Who knows? Depending on what, and we got a goal. I mean, I don't really know about all that, but what I do know is that I think trans women belong in women's leagues, especially in very like team-oriented games like soccer. In fact, I actually think mixed gender teams with kind of like limits on like you have to have a certain amount of like, you know, cis men, cis women, and trans men or trans women, and like based on like hormone levels. Because then you would have like a max team. You wouldn't just have a team that's just all super burly, like super giant burly cis men, right? Because then they're like, oh, well, we're just going to have the best team. We're just going to put all men in our team. Like, obviously, if it was a mixed gender, but then in reality, they would just put all cis men in it. I think that would be interesting if sports became that much more widespread. But the reality, people generally only care about, like, you know, I don't really know. The market matters. And unfortunately for the market, I know people want to live in a perfect world where we could have like all-inclusive teams and we could have like trans leagues. Because people, I mean, it would be awesome to have trans-only leagues in addition to the regular leagues. Not as a replacement, not to exclude trans women from like women's categories, which I don't even know is like really that common. Like, is it? I don't even know if it's that common to begin with. I don't think trans women can compete with, like, I think cis women are stronger. I don't even think trans women can even like hold up on the same level of cis women. I think that's why cis women want trans women in sports. I think that's the reason. They're like, oh yeah, more trans women in sports, please. But not on our team. We're going to have only cis women, and all the other teams can have trans women. Yes! Inclusion, yes! So we can win more. I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's controversial. It's probably controversial. Yeah. But I honestly don't really know. I'm not a scientist. I don't think any of the people talking about this stuff are scientists. So hey Casey, what's up? Sobriety and sadness? True. Messy as shit? I have no idea what that even means. Shit is messy. No, I know what you're talking about. Isn't he from Brazil? Or Mexico? Wait, who are we talking? There's a soccer player named... football player named Messi. There's a soccer... We're speaking in English, so we're going to say... Well, we're speaking American English, so we're gonna say soccer. I'm going the wrong way. Why did I shoot instead of pass? What am I doing? I hit the flag. We don't have enough yerba mate for this. Shit is messy. You're chilling and watching Unsolved Mysteries? For some reason, I just pictured William Frakes. Even though I know that he's not doing Unsolved Mysteries. He does the, like, fact or hoax or whatever it's called. Like, I forget which one. Not William Riker. Did I just say William Riker? I meant Jonathan Frakes. I said William Frakes. I was like, oh, not William Riker. No, like Jonathan Frakes. He says, like, it was fact or fiction, real or hoax. What is it called? What is the one with Jonathan Frakes? I said William Frakes. Oh my god. Shut up, Wesley. In the end of the day, I don't really know how much of this biology discussion actually matters in certain contexts in sports. I do know that it matters, but I don't think it matters in the ways that people argue about it. I think fairness is always the most important. And so I feel like we should let the scientists figure that out. And whatever they decide, we should respect. But also, we need to kind of stop being assholes and stop adding so many emotions to our discussions about these things. And I think instead we should say, hey, like, why don't we just like come up with a solution rather than just hate people? I think a lot of trans people want to participate in sports, but not a lot. Like comparatively. Like we're such a small part of the population, and out of us, how many of us are actually athletic? And out of all of us, how much of our actually are like at an athletic level that is competitive? It's probably very small. And so like people are like worried that like, oh, but they're just that it's small now, but what if it becomes big later? Like you guys are creating boogeymen that problems that don't exist and probably will never exist, because most trans people are wanting to be just living their lives and be invisible. Competitive athletic people are very rare in general, and out of trans people is probably even rarer. And even then, I don't even know if the science agrees with those opinions. I actually think trans women are most likely less likely to compete with, like less likely to be able to match up with cis women. Like not the other way around. Like if anything, we're weaker. So like what you're basically saying, you don't want weak people on the team. So I understand that argument. If that was your argument, I'd get it. You're here to hate? Well, welcome, Rock'em Steam. Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Rotten Steam. Rammstein. So, I don't know if, like, people are actually intellectually honest about what the real things are. I know scientists are constantly analyzing these things, and they do sometimes make decisions about competitive sports. But I think by and large, things are more complex than we make it out on Reddit. Myself included. I'm not a scientist. And I do have emotional biases towards trans women, but I also try to be objective. But if anything, I'm pretty sure the science says less about, like, obviously hormones do make a difference, but that's more about testosterone and less about, like, estrogen. Because it seems like testosterone levels decide a lot, but trans women have lower testosterone than other women, and women have lower testosterone than most men. And then, like, so I don't know if that argument alone is good enough. There are differences sometimes, but not all the time. And from what I've researched, it seems to be more about weight category rather than any, like, inherent gender differences, other than clearly male and clearly female, which trans women after a certain point would fit into the clearly female category. As far as, like, physical ability, probably even less than baseline, if anything. Most likely comparable. And the same kind of ups and downs that are usual for all women. I'm pretty sure that's what the data shows. And also, I think sports in general, I think there's more factors to it than that. You suck at FIFA? Me too. And also, here's the thing. People who are actually involved in these sports, especially in these women's categories, tend to overwhelmingly support trans women. So why don't you listen to the people who actually know what they're talking about, the people who actually play these games, and the people who are, like, you know, scientifically inclined and incentivized to research these things. And leave it out of Reddit. You know? Because it just divides us. And it makes people hate each other. And I feel like, in the end of the day, like, I know people like to fight about sports. It's an inherently competitive thing. And I understand people get really heated. But, like, you also have to ground things in reality. You timed me out yesterday for transracial comment? Yeah, I mean, that was because it was a little weird. Yeah, I'm just gonna... You got a bad vibe. I'm gonna block you. You're coming back hot, bro. You're like, oh, I just made a transracial comment. You saying I can't identify as a one? No, dude, it's not about, like... Honestly, that's a completely different thing. Plus, it's not even about what you're saying. It's how you're going about it. It's just annoying. You're trying to troll. That's all there is to it. It has nothing to do with the topic. It's just like, you come back and you're like, yo, I got timed out. Can't people just identify as whatever they want? Like, come on. You know what you're doing. Anyway, I know that it's a difficult conversation, and there's things that I think trans people need to also be ready for any kind of scientific evidence that says otherwise. But so far, the scientific evidence is mostly supportive of us, so I know that there's certain things that there has been made decisions, but I think those were politically charged. I think they were pressured socially because the fan base got mob mentality and they were afraid of backlash. I think that's not how we should make decisions in competitive sports. We should not be making decisions based on what the mob wants. We should be making decisions based on pure science. And if it affirms trans people, that's great. If it says trans people need a little bit more scrutiny, then that's great. I would not want to... If I was going to play competitive sports, I would not want to cause frictions. I would only compete in categories that I would be allowed to. And it would suck, and I would hope that I could find places where I could fit. But most likely it seems to confirm that if I wanted to play sports, I would fit in the women's categories. In fact, they'd probably want me there because I'm the enemy teams would probably want me there because I don't even know if see, this is why I wouldn't even be competitive in the first place. I'm a bit older. I'm 38. But I think I'm pretty athletic. So if we were in some league that was an age-based thing, right? So if there was a 35 to 40 kind of thing or something like that. If there was an age bracket in competitive sports and I was strong enough to compete with people my age. If we're in a hypothetical here, so it's all kind of ridiculous. You time me out for being an obvious troll? Yeah, I'm sorry if I timed you out when you were being an obvious troll. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going on about. I know it's I know people are gonna... I kind of preemptively having these conversations because I know people are gonna come in here and they're gonna think they're being hot shots. They're gonna be like, oh, it's a trans person. She's playing a sports game. Let's talk about trans people in sports now. Because that's how people are. And I'm kind of preemptively kind of saying what my thoughts are on it so that people can shut the fuck up and move on. And my thoughts can change if there's new evidence. Because I'm a reasonable human being. There might be unreasonable people who are acting more on emotion, but that's true no matter who you are and no matter what side of an argument you are. Did I just pass it to the goalie? The trans race? Yeah, no. I know you were riffing off of it. I know you were not talking. You were talking about the user I blocked. You were mocking him. I get it. I'm smart. I'm smart. I'm smart. I get it. Oh no.
But accuracy has been sacrificed for power.
I don't even want to. I think it's ridiculous. I think we can pretty much all agree the whole transracial discussion is pretty much just rage bait. I'm pretty sure like there's no genuine people arguing that they're black just because they tan themselves with a really cancer-inducing chemical. I'm pretty sure that like you can't become black. You can change your skin color, and yeah, you technically are going to be treated like you're black. So, like, it's like socially. So, if anything, then maybe I don't know. I think it's a stupid. You see, I'm getting roped into the conversation already. You see, you can treat anything reasonably, and it doesn't. And you're trying to compare it to the transgender discussion, and that's really dishonest. You're basically trying to say, oh, but because you're transgender, you can identify as a woman? Well, then what if I identify as black? Like, dude, that's just, like, just shut the fuck up. Nobody is doing that. And there's, like, one guy in the entire fucking planet that is, like, publicly doing that. He, like, used a chemical in tanning salon, in, like, a tanning booth to make himself look black. And he does exist in a black community, and apparently he's accepted as black in his community, in the black community there. But I feel like that's a, you know when they say the outlier? Like when they say like the outlier that proves the norm, right? The exception that proves the rule, like I'm pretty sure that's like, even that is like questionable. It's not the same as transgender people. It's just not. Like, just shut the fuck up. You're stupid. You're dumb. You're like one of those like red hat. I mean, you're one of those like fedora wearing Reddit comments. Okay. You're trying to be a smartass. You're trying to compare things that are anywhere near different. It's a completely separate like category. Even if it was to be taken seriously. Gender is separate than like ethnicity. Like, now you could say culturally you're part of a culture, but like ethnicity, that's like, I'm not, see, like, here's the thing. If you wanted to compare it, I'm not going to say that my chromosomes aren't my chromosomes. I'm saying that I am a woman. Those are different things. Like, I am not delusional into thinking I was assigned female at birth, but that's what people who are transracial are saying. They're saying that they're black because they identify as black, but I'm not saying I identify as female at birth. I'm saying I identify as female. I'm not delusional about thinking about that my chromosomes or that my birth assigned gender are different than what they are. Those are static things that you can't change, but it's irrelevant because I think people who are focused on that, you're focusing on things that like, so what? So what if, I mean, that's not really what matters. But like that, I think that's the difference. Is like you can't change those things. Trans people aren't claiming that they're biologically male or female. They're claiming that that's their identity and it's their gender based on their expression, which is complicated in general. There are gender non-conforming men who are like femboys. There are gender non-conforming women who are like tomgirls. Why not just be a lesbian or gay and then just change your look? See, that's what I'm talking. That's actually Juice 1000 MCCXVIII. So that's 1048. Juice 1048 is C? No, okay. 1248. Okay. 1248. Juice. That is like a good question. That's actually exactly what I was talking about. That's like, there are people who are gender non-conforming, and that's fine. But you're basically saying like, well, if you're gay, why not just like theater? Why are you gay? How are you gay? Like, why be gay when you can just like, Broadway musicals? Like, those are two different things. Now they need a bunch of flags and stuff. See, this is what I'm going to time you out. You're coming in hot. But I understand where you're coming from. I'm trying to actually talk about what you're saying because a lot of people feel the same way you do. And the only reason I'm responding to this is because you're not isolated. This is not an isolated comment. I do time you out because I think you're coming in hot and I want to slow your roll. And I have an opportunity here to not shut you out. I have an opportunity to actually genuinely engage with this idea because you're not the first person to have this belief. And I feel like there's a reason why it exists. People are correlating things together based on their own experience and their own values and their own beliefs. And this is not the only factor of it, but like, think about it this way. If this was all you thought about, isolate this in a very isolated example. Let's just take all the nuance out for a second, because there is nuance. Believe me, there is nuance. But let's isolate this by itself. Let's take this idea that your values influence your ideas. Because this isn't the only thing. This isn't the only factor, but we're going to isolate it to help you understand. Because you're not the only person who has said something like this. Let's just take this example of your opinion. Your opinion is, and it's a very common opinion, why do gay and trans people have to have all these flags? And I get that, because that's what, from your values and from your point of view, it looks like people just being pure, like, vanity, and they're just celebrating something that you think for no reason. And you just think it's ridiculous because you don't feel the need to do that about being straight. I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm going to engage with you I don't know if you're in good faith, but because you're not the only person who has this belief, and I did time you out because I wanted to slow you down before you got too ahead of yourself. Because I don't want to assume that you're just a bad person. I don't want to assume that you're evil. I don't want to seem. I don't like that us versus them kind of stuff. I know that in games like soccer, like basketball and American football, I know that things are head to head and competitive. But life is more complicated than that, and we're all in this together. Okay, so we're all on the same team here. We should be. I know we have this like, oh, this country versus this country versus this country. That works in sports. It doesn't really work so well in real life. And people have cultural beliefs. People have cultural differences. I get that. But I feel like we should slow down and maybe like not jump ahead of ourselves. I think that's where things escalate, is when we jump ahead of ourselves. Everyone has to be in your face. Why? No one gives a shit. It's just stupid. Yeah, see, they're doing the same thing. If you want to compare it, sobriety and sadness, you actually bring up a good point. If some people say, why do trans and gay people have to have a flag about it? Why do they have to have parades? Why do they have to put it in your face? Well, you could throw that argument right back in the people that are doing exactly what you're doing. Why do you have to put your opinion about it out to everyone in the world to hear? Why are you so proud of being hateful? Is it still going? It died back in 2010. Pro Evolution Soccer franchise? I have no idea what that even means. Gameplay was terrible? I guess. I don't even know. This is the first soccer game I played since like Mega Man Soccer on Super Nintendo. Okay. I just passed it to the goalie. FIFA? Yeah, FIFA's FIFA. Okay, let's be real. It's not even hate. I mean, okay, you guys are talking about video games now. Okay, like let's get back on topic here. No, I'm just kidding. You guys can talk about whatever you want. Obviously, if people are gonna come out here with talking points that I know to be in bad faith, or to not necessarily that they're in bad faith, but more so that I know what the tendencies are for people to like come up with very misaligned intentions. You're automatically assuming it's hate and not curiosity. Daniel, you have a good point. But you have to understand that from my perspective and from a lot of people's perspective, we don't always know what the difference is. Because there are people who genuinely are curious, but more likely it's people who are just trying to start shit. I don't even know if it's because they believe it. I think these are people that just want to start shit. In general. These are the people that start shit over anime. These are the people who start shit over video games. These are people who start shit over sports. These are people who start shit over political ideologies. Which there's two different sides of the equation. There are transgender, well, there's multiple parts. There's transgender people who are real people who have real social and spiritual and medical needs. There are also political sides of being trans. And unfortunately, we get roped into it just by existing. And I can't really change anything about that. But what I can do is I can address things based on, I see a lot of people come into my chat. I know it's hard for you to believe, but you're not the first person to bring up transgender topics in my chat. And so you have to think about it from this way. If I was a gacha streamer, right? And someone came in and said I should try XYZ gacha game. But I've played like every single gacha game for like 1,000 hours each. Or something like that. At least. I'm going to roll my eyes because you come in here thinking I haven't played that gacha game. And I've played all of them. Or I'm an anime fan, and you say, hey, have you seen XYZ anime? Have you tried watching this? You think that you're just genuine. Yeah, I know that. Understand that people are going to come into the conversation not knowing that you're an anime fan or something. Not knowing that you've already seen that anime and you've talked about it. You may have even made a YouTube review video about it. But that person doesn't know that. They come in and they're like, they see anime viewer, they see anime gamer. They see football. They see like somebody who's really into football games or soccer games. And they think they played this, you know, they're like, hey, have you tried playing this game? And it's like, yeah, I've played that. But they, you know, but I'm not going to get mad at them for asking that because they genuinely don't know that. But from my point of view, I've heard that question like 1,000 times. So there is like a responsibility on my part to try to, you know, not escalate so quickly, because sometimes people are genuinely curious, but 8 times out of 10, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, but 8 times out of 10, people are not curious. They're trying to start shit. Have you watched Blue Lock? I don't know what that is. Hilarious way to rationalize? I don't even know what that means. Remember when someone is judging you, they aren't teaching you about who you are, they're telling you everything about them? Yeah. But there are people who are genuinely curious, and they might be uneducated about it, and that's their first step to learning. But they come in hot because their first instinct on social media is to come in hot. You guys are trying to start a fight. You might not know it, but you are. And but I know it because I see it all the time. I'm a live streamer. I see people come into my chat every single stream. Every single stream, there's at least one person, there's usually more than one, who comes in hot about transgender topics, even when I'm not talking about it. Sometimes talking about it causes more people to come here, but at some point you have to address it, like the elephant in the room, right? It's soccer anime? Oh. 25M is just not really fun other than to get gear. I have no idea what that even means. You rated in TBC? Oh, 25 man. No, I'm level 61 right now. We're taking a little bit of a break. Been enjoying Kara? Oh, Karzan. Yeah, sorry. I got burned out a little bit during the pre-patch, so we're kind of just taking a little bit of a break. There's also some real life stuff that is kind of holding me back from wanting to play regularly. But things are about to change. I am crossing my fingers. I'm going to be moving into a new house soon. I have a really promising lead right now. I can't promise anything. I'm trying to be, you know, like this is what, like, cautious optimism kind of situation. It's not an elephant in the room. It is to them. Do you understand sobriety and sadness? The kind of people who come in here, to them, it's an elephant because they see a trans person, or they just assume I'm trans. Some people just automatically assume. Some people don't. Some people know I'm trans coming in. Like, I'm trying to tell you, there are people who already have an agenda. They already know I'm trans. They already have had these conversations with me before on alt accounts. And they're just trying to cause problems. I have been streaming for 6 years. I have had these kind of trolls, people who come from 4chan and Kiwi farms, trying to hate farm and lolcow me, since 2020. Okay, so this has been going on for a while. This is not my, am I a stay-at-home mom? No, I'm not a mom. And I'm also unable to give birth or get anyone pregnant. And I don't want kids, and I never want kids. But anyway, glad you enjoying. Show us some content like this. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of Sam. Suddenly Sam. You're not Suddenly Samuel. Suddenly Seymour. People come in with preconceived beliefs that they will never change. You have to understand this. There are people with religious beliefs, which I am not going to police their beliefs, but I am going to police their behavior because it's my stream. I may not be able to change how you behave in your own social circles. I may not be able to change who you spend your time with and what you believe. I'm not going to control which church you go to. I can't police you. I can't police your faith. I can't police your beliefs. I can't police who you spend your time with. But if you're going to be in my space, especially if it's a public space where there are rules of decorum, you should think about it that way. Do I go into your church and start saying that God isn't real and that you should all be atheist? I would be kicked out. That would be really rude. It would be inappropriate. I would never do that. In fact, if I was in your church, I would be kind and courteous. I would be listening to your Bible. I would be listening to your sermon. I would be listening to the community members. I would be a guest, I wouldn't be causing problems. And the only thing I ask is that hopefully they can do the same. You might not understand gay people. You might not understand trans people. You might never accept us, but treat us with dignity and respect, the way you'd want to be treated. Even if that's all that you change. That's all we can really ask for. I don't know. I would hope that you respect me as an individual and not think that I'm sinful. But just like how you want other people to be your religion because you believe that their soul needs saving, you can't change people. You can't force somebody to be Christian or to be Muslim or to be Jewish or to be Buddhist or to be anything. You can't force people to do anything. And you can try to show them the way. But there comes a point where it's harassment, right? When you go into a church and you tell everyone to be atheist, that's extremely offensive. I'm not going to go into a Christian church and tell everybody to be atheist and to denounce the Bible. That's ridiculous. That's really rude. That's abusive. That's offensive. I would never do that to a Christian people. Do you still have a schlong? No. I fully converted it into a vajayjay back in 2024. Can you play a horror game like Silent Hill? Ooh, so we will be going through every single Resident Evil remake eventually. I have a donut. I guess it's more like a chalupa. Yeah, and it's glorious. It's absolutely amazing. I'm happy every day. As far as my body is concerned, I am in heaven. You know, people can cope all they want. I'm the one who wakes up every single day with it. So, they don't. Your butt is crumbling? I'm sorry to hear that, Fawns. Hey! No! What a pass. What a pass. Okay, we are waiting. Oh, you're waiting for horror games? Yeah, eventually we're going to play all the Resident Evil games. We're going to play 1 through 8. And we're not going to... And when we do that, we're not going to stop until we go through all of them. And then one of these days, we're going to play all the Baldur's Gate games.
Well, a really good run. To take the lead. And really try to...
Does it smell like a chalupa? No, it smells like... If I want to say, it actually smells and tastes like honey. Why your butt crumbling? That's what I want to know. The people want to know, Bonds. Why is your butt crumbling? Is it made of sand? That's like... Hey!
Made a really important challenge. Well, maybe a good position from which to counter. Oh, looks so promising.
Silent Hill, Leon, you're not the silent type? Huh. Have you guys seen like the deviant arts of like Leon and he's like 400 pounds with big giant cake? Have you guys seen that? Now you have.
Well, she really hit it with the laces, but miles off target.
Gabe owners. Shout out to Gabe owners, guys. Too much chocolate fudge brownie Ben and Jerry's? I don't even know what that means. Oh, you mean Leon? Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing. That's my biggest, like, criticism of people who are just asking questions about LGBT.
Well, they lost custody of it.
And I guess we can just start saying queer. Just like queer existence. But I mean, that includes like LGBTQ, right? So I think like I'm in the camp where we should just shorten that to queer. If we're going to talk about Umbrella, like we're talking about Resident Evil, so if we're going to talk about Umbrella, if we're going to talk about the umbrella term that includes like gay people, lesbian people, trans people, non-binary people, gender non-conforming people, two-spirit people, asexual people, intersex people, pansexual people. I'm pansexual, but like I'm actually pansexual. I am transgender. I am the storm that is awoken. Oh, nice catch though. You call them the last bum benders? That is actually funny, Fonz. That is actually funny. Your butt is crumbling, too much junk food? Okay, I get it. Yeah, the last bum benders. That is actually funny. So basically, like...
Pointing into the move. Well, this is looking promising. And a long way out here. And tipping it over the crossbar.
So it's basically like... I think it's too many letters. I feel like we need to have a council of the gay. Like, you know, the council of the gay, okay? Like, and let's just settle on queer if we're gonna talk about the all-inclusive. Because it's just queer culture, right? We claim that word, right, apparently. And I feel like that could be a good compromise instead of saying like a million letters. Can we please do that? That's my vote on the council of the gay. Anyway... Because it's just too many letters. It's hard for people to say, and it's hard for us to say. Imagine how hard it is for straight people to say. Okay? Like, think about it that way. But anyway, if we're going to talk about people who have the belief that trans people and gay people, just queer people in general, are somehow sinful and go against your Bible, well... it's unfortunate that you have hate in your heart for people that are, if you want to use your Bible terms, they are all children of God, and you want to have hate in your heart, which is going against the Bible. And if you want your denomination of church to have that belief, well, then, you know, in those spaces, if you want to have that hate, then don't be surprised when people designate you as a hate group. Like, you know, if you hate all people that are in a category, that makes you a hate group. And you guys are going to convince yourselves that it's not hate, that you're just asking questions, that you're just believing things. Well, actions speak louder than words. And I think it's like, just because you don't think it's hate doesn't mean it's not. I'm sure somebody believes that it's not hate, but you know, like, if you're just causing constant friction and you're causing people's lives to be completely dismantled and to live in shame and without dignity, and to just not have basic human dignity in society, like, we're supposed to function in society. Like, even if we have differences, right? Even if we have differences, we're still supposed to function. But if you guys are going to cause friction and you're going to cause disruptions, we're not going to be able to function. And I'm not saying that you need to be trans. That's ridiculous. Not everybody's going to be trans. Like, it's like 1 to 2% of the population, okay? Like, we're just asking to be treated with dignity, like real people, because we are real people. How can you designate those who do drag shows for kids? Okay, you're banned. You're just so far gone. You guys are okay, this is like the idea that you think a drag show is inherently inappropriate for kids without, just in general and not based on context. The fact that you think that's inappropriate tells me a lot about you. That you inherently think that people wearing women's clothing and doing drag is sexual, which says more about you. That you have closeted sexuality, that you're infringing on, like, you're imposing it on everyone else. You're assuming that it's sexual when it's not. That's the problem that people with those kind of arguments have. You guys think drag is sexual. Unless it's a sexual context, it's not. It's literally people playing dress up. Like, would you have a problem with kids dressing up for like a Halloween, like you have a problem with kids dressing up for Halloween? You have a problem with people dressing up as like a vampire or a witch or a werewolf? I was born looking like a baby? Yeah, like everyone else. Lord of the Rims? Return of the Queen? Oh my god, what the hell is even that? I don't even want to... what? What? What does that even mean?
Yeah, she was on to that before it even happened.
No, the parents don't have to explain. The kid. This, I'm gonna time you out, Fonz. But here's the thing. Just because they have to be explained doesn't mean it's inappropriate. Because we explain a lot of things. We explain why people are dressed up as a werewolf for Halloween. Right? Why is that man dressed up as a vampire? Because it's Halloween. We dress up and celebrate for Halloween. Oh. And that's the end of it. The reason why kids have confusion is usually when the parents have confusion. That's what I've noticed. I've noticed that the only kids that are confused are the ones who have parents that have brainwashed them into thinking that it's wrong. Kids that don't have that kind of upbringing don't have an issue with it. Kids that have parents that are ignorant and are talking about that kind of stuff in a negative way at the household, they tend to have those beliefs too. And it's not because they believe it, it's because that's what they've been told to believe. You guys are over analyzing something. You're making something out of nothing when it's just people having fun. And it's not inappropriate. You guys are you're projecting. And it shows more about you than it does about other people. Because the fact that you think a man dressing up in drag is inherently inappropriate for children tells me how you think about women in general. That you think somebody presenting as female is inherently inappropriate to begin with. Would you consider a woman with large breasts to be inappropriate around women? Just because she has large breasts? You might not think so. But then in different contexts, you're like, oh, it depends on what she's wearing. There you go. Those kind of people have those kind of beliefs. You usually see like a pattern of beliefs, right? You see people who have beliefs about drag being inappropriate. If you ask them about women who have larger breasts, if they wear certain clothing, they'll say, oh, well, it's appropriate for them to wear this clothes, but it's not appropriate for them to wear this clothes. I understand if it's like highly sexualized clothes, but even that is like, those are rare. Like, people aren't going to be walking around in lingerie, okay, like, around children in a children's setting that is specifically for children. Like, no, drag is a costume, like Halloween. And in these drag time short story hours, it's child appropriate. It's literally like if somebody dressed up as a clown. I'm not really into drag, so I mean, I'm not really part of that culture. So please don't come to me about questions about drag. You can go, but I'm guessing that if you're having these kind of beliefs, that most people are not going to take you seriously. I'm just giving you a reality check. Most people who are dealing with this kind of stuff have to deal with these kind of hateful comments all the time. And just because you think that you're just curious, or that you're just being reasonable, or that you're just asking questions, it's annoying. You're interrogating somebody for existing. You're interrogating something for something that they're not doing anything wrong, and they're just trying to go about and living their lives, and they're trying to spread positivity. They're trying to have fun. They're trying to also like show people that all the things that their parents think are hateful are not weird or inappropriate. It's literally just someone playing dress up and reading a story to children. And you don't have to bring your children to those if you don't want. Nobody's forcing your kids to go to those. And also, like, here's the other thing, like sex ed in public school. Some people have a problem with sex ed because they want to teach their children about it on their own terms. Well, you can opt out of that. No one's forcing you to hear these things. But when it comes to trans or gay people existing, I'm sorry, but my existence is not pornographic. Okay, I'm just going to start banning people and not responding. You guys are copy-pasting talking points that are just problems. You guys are causing problems. You're just trying to cause disruption. Stop it. Yeah, we talked about the YouTube banned me. We talked about the sports things earlier, so you can go back in the VOD and listen to me talk about it there. I've moved on from that. Do you like man or women? Yes. That means pansexual. You think you're delusional and proof is in front of us? Yeah, you're banned. I knew I said I was just going to be blocking, but certain people I'm just going to time out. Other people I'm just going to ban. Oh, yeah, people are a little crazy. I know this discussion can be really hard for some people, and I try not to avoid it completely. Because I know I would have every right to just completely ban everybody who sounds like they're being really insincere and trying to cause friction. In general, I try not to shut down conversation. But at a certain point, it's not conversation, it's you projecting your hateful beliefs. And you might not think so, but of course, hateful people don't always think they're hateful. So you might not think you're hateful, but it comes across that way. And at some point, a potato is a potato is a potato. Okay. And it's not up to me to change you. You know, go do that somewhere else if that's what you want to do. You're causing disruption. You just want trans people to feel shame because you think bullying people causes better society. That's where the root of the problem is. Do you like men? Yeah, I like men. I like women. I like non-binary people. I like all sorts of different gender expressions. I like trans-type bodies. I'm a little bit more picky when it comes to like trans masc and trans femme bodies. But honestly, I'm pansexual, so basically that means if I feel comfortable with you and things are going that direction, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm pansexual. I think she only into souls. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how pansexual... I mean, that's actually like a good way of putting it. I'm not into the body, I'm into the soul. Like, you know, I'm gonna devour your soul. I mean, sorry, I blew my cover. Shit, I'm a soul devourer. Oh shit, I'm sorry. This whole time I've been collecting you guys so I can feed on your soul. I'm sorry. I've been fooling you. That's kind of how pansexual works. I'm not into the body, I'm into the person. And that's variable, right? So, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, it's not like, I mean, I think it's very I think it's like splitting hairs between bisexual and pansexual. But here's the thing, is like with bisexual, it's more, I feel like the difference is more of a, kind of a, like what, semantic difference. I think pansexual is more like I am attracted to the person. And bisexual is I'm attracted to the bodies. I like the bodies, but being with somebody sexually is depending on the person, not on their body. Their body is like, I will accept their body if I accept the person. That's how it is. It's like an order. I mean, there is a preference, but there's an order of operations. I'm not going to be with somebody if I don't like them. I might feel attracted to them, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be with them. Do you understand? You gotta go. It's very entertained with your talks. Probably won't sub. Well, I'm sorry that you don't sub, but welcome here. As long as you're, you know, I don't shut down genuine conversations if it's reasonable, but there comes a point where I kind of have to moderate because it becomes unreasonable, and it's hard because nowadays we live on social media where everything's black and white. It's always us versus them, and this has nothing to. This is actually for, you know, all sides of different discussions. It's like there are people who are trans that I don't think they're appropriate either. Because a lot of people, sometimes people who are trans are also like that, and I don't like it. I don't like that people can be like that. I kicked it way too hard. I keep clicking too long. It's really difficult to have these type of conversations without it devolving into an us versus them. But that's why I'm here to moderate. I'm the one who's streaming, and so it's my responsibility. It's my chat. And the way I run my chat, you might not agree with how I run my chat, but it's my chat, not yours. My current philosophy on chat is that it's not about topic. Some topics are off limits because it's just generally just way too volatile too quickly and way too inappropriate. But it's very few and far between. It's not about topic, it's about tone. And I generally set my chat tone as inquisitive and like curious and energetic. But as soon as it turns into an us versus them, we have to kind of take a step back. Believe it or not, frog legs taste like chicken. I've heard that. I've heard that. That's, you might not agree with how I moderate my chat. You might think I'm suppressing free speech. Well, I'm sorry, I hate to burst your bubble, but there never was freedom of speech. There was, you know, agreed upon speech. And in public spaces, freedom of speech is allowed. To an extent, you can't do certain things. You can't yell fire in a crowded place. Like, you can't, like, incite violence. Like, those are against the law. If you're in there's also decorum. So if I go into a church and I tell people that they shouldn't believe in Jesus, that they should believe in atheism or whatever, people are going to have a problem with me. Are you playing career mode? No, we're into like tutorial mode. We finally scored. Let's go. We won. We were in overtime. When are you going to start Resident Evil? I have no idea. It might not be for like a month. I promise you we are going to go through Resident Evil. We're going to go through from the first game all the way to the latest game. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we will do that eventually. I promise you. I'm telling you. Okay, we are going to do that. But one step at a time. Basically... Yeah, she's pumped up. She's actually scored a lot in my past couple of games. Oh, I didn't win the game yet. I guess it's like a whole period, not just until we got a point. Okay, so we got to maintain that advantage. When the body is changed, but the heart isn't. I don't even know what that means. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I welcome, like, genuine, curious, intellectual conversation. And by the way, before you get all nitpicky, intellectual conversation doesn't have to mean what you think it means. Intellectual conversation can mean, hey, I don't understand this topic. And that can mean anything. Like, you could say something that sounds stupid. That doesn't make it unintellectual. But if you're going to come in hot, you're going to come in from a place of friction, you're going to cause divisiveness, you're going to cause vitriol, you're going to make people feel uncomfortable, I'm going to time you out or ban you. That's all there is to it. It has nothing to do with the topic. There are certain topics that I am much more annoyed about because I am a trans woman, so people are going to come into my chat with opinions about trans people. I can't stop that, but I can moderate that. And maybe that kind of conversation is welcome elsewhere where it's not as annoying to those streamers. But they're not having to deal with it the way I do because they're not trans. Okay, so like cisgender people who might talk about those topics on their stream, good for them. I'm not going to say they're offensive. They can do whatever they want on their stream. You know, people like Asmongold or Hassan or Destiny or Vosh who talk about trans stuff all the time, you can go there and talk about it there. They're going to engage with it as long as you're in good faith because they have their own rules too. But they do talk about it more often than I would, and they have better talking points than I do anyway. In fact, I mean, even though they're not trans. So it's like they're kind of... I honestly think that their opinions do matter because it's almost like they're in a more neutral stance, and they can talk about these topics without it affecting them emotionally as much. Well, first of all, I don't play sports competitively. I'm athletic, but I'm gonna be real. I am not remotely capable of playing sports competitively. You know, being trans has nothing to do with being trans. I am just... It has nothing to do with any of that. I'm just not that. In general. I do have opinions about it, but honestly, my opinions don't matter. I'm not a scientist. I'm not the one who makes these decisions. I shouldn't make these decisions. It should not be identity-based. It should be, like based on science. And so far, science seems to agree, for the most part, that trans people belong in the category of their gender, assuming, biological realities such as hormones, right? So you're not going to... Somebody can't just, come off the street, super trained, buff-ass dude, giant muscles, just said, without even starting estrogen, says, I identify as female, raw! And then just start competing in, the Olympics. That's never happened. It would never happen. It would never be allowed. Currently, they do have a compromise, and it's sometimes maybe it's a little bit too on the conservative and punishing side. Maybe it'll lighten up later as more people understand how trans people are affecting their competitive ability or not. But right now they say basically if you've been on, and the discussion usually focuses on trans women, so because of testosterone differences and stuff. But honestly, the current consensus, my understanding, is that if you've been on hormones for at least 2 years, I think sometimes people have, made it into 3 years just to be safe, which does impact people negatively and makes people not be able to live their lives, makes them feel a lack of dignity, makes them feel isolated and excluded. But unfortunately, that's where we're at right now. And I think people have come up with a compromise, and they said, hey, if you've been on estrogen therapy for 3 years and your hormone levels are at a certain level, then we will allow you to compete if you're trans. And I hope that like changes someday, because hopefully we have a better understanding longer term. There should be more research. I encourage more research. I want more research. And people aren't coming to this kind of discussion with that kind of intellectual honesty. They just want to hate trans people. They don't want trans people to exist. They have preconceived belief about trans people. They hate trans people. They think we're gross. They just don't want us to exist. They want to find arguments to verify the beliefs they already have, and it says more about them than it does about other people. Joga Bonito Man, I am glad to give that positive impression, but I want you to understand too that this is actually the norm. And I am sorry that you've had to deal with some very rude people. There are rude people in the trans community, just like there's rude people in any community. And usually the most rude people are the loudest. Most trans people I have met are pretty reasonable people. They just want to live their lives. They just go about their day. They go to work. They go home. They have friends. They have family. They may go to gender inclusive spaces to talk about specific issues that are not really as comfortable to talk about in non-gender expansive spaces. And that makes sense, right? Like if you want to talk about Christian values, do you go to an atheist meeting to talk about it? Or do you go to church? Or to a church meetup, right? Sometimes you talk about your stuff with people who are going to be receptive to it. And you're going to feel more comfortable. And you can have safer conversations. Because it's a different space, right? So I feel like it's perfectly reasonable to expect trans people to feel safer to talk about trans stuff with other trans people in a gender expansive space. That's what people would say a safe space, right? But some people are more comfortable talking about it outside of that, and sometimes people get very emotional and very rude, and I don't approve of that when people are extremely rude and extremely aggressive, because you're not helping anybody, and you're also making us look bad, which I know that we should not be held accountable for the rest of the community, but that's how it works. They see one trans person doing something bad, and now all trans people are that. And unfortunately, I have to hold myself up to a much higher standard, because I represent not just me, I represent all trans people. Even if that's not how it should be, that's how it is. It's not how it should be. Just like I would not expect one black person to represent every single black person. I would not expect every woman to represent every single woman. I would not expect one man to represent every single man. So, do you see where I'm going with this? I feel like there are rules of decorum in society. That is my personal belief. And I feel like if I'm not going to go to a church and try to spread atheism, then I don't think that if you disagree with trans people existing, you shouldn't go to trans spaces and try to tear us apart. And you shouldn't go into public spaces and try to exclude us from it. We're not trying to go exclude you from it. Imagine if we said Christians couldn't play soccer because your belief disrupts the game or something. I know that that's a little bit of a different thing, because there are biological realities that scientists are researching. So the thing that you want is already happening. So what more do you want? If you're going to argue about that, well, scientists are already doing that. So what more do you want? And then so if you have a problem with it after that, then your problem isn't about science. Your problem is about hate. Because let the scientists decide that kind of stuff. That's their job. This is competitive sports. One of the most funded research in the entire human society is competitive athletics. Because it's the most popular, it's the most funded. That research is going to be the most neutral. Like the people who are assigned to these kind of things are like, there's like panels and approval processes. There's peer review. It's the most funded and most scrutinized research on the planet. Okay, so and then when it comes to transgender medicine, well, let the doctors figure this out. The same kind of peer-reviewed science that helps us with cancer treatments, that helps us with diabetes treatments, all sorts of stuff like that, right? So when it comes to transgender medicine, why don't you trust them with that? And when it comes to parental rights, well, I kind of don't particularly like that people are allowed to bring their children at as young as age 2 or 3 to church and to baptize their children when they can't even consent yet. That is a personal belief of mine, but I don't think that they should be disallowed from that. I think people should be allowed to have cultural community with their church. It's an ingrained part of their culture. If the child chooses to separate from that church later, that's when they have a better decision, when they're a little older. But when they're a baby, they can't really make that decision. So I feel like, hey, if you're going to brainwash your children, unfortunately, the trade-off is that you should be allowed to do that, because I think it sets a really dangerous precedent. If we were to pick and choose what parents can culturally teach their children, because it's like, well, church is a part of your culture. It's not just about beliefs. So you're going to church events, you're meeting other families. This is a part of your day-to-day life. If you're a church family, you're going to bring your children into that. And if they want to separate, I feel like there should be a give and take. If you're going to show them that this is the culture you want from them, but they reject it, I feel like you should respect that. And that's that's not up to me. And parents should have the right to that. But that being said, if your child doesn't agree with your hateful beliefs about trans people or gay people, and they are gay themselves or trans themselves, unfortunately, if they don't have parents' permission, trans medicine says that they're not allowed to transition. And unfortunately, that's a compromise that I think it would be dangerous to force, even though it hurts trans people, because the trans youth are the ones who suffer from that decision, because they're just trying to figure out their identity. They're trying to live their lives. They're trying to enjoy childhood, but they suffer from something that most people will never understand, that I didn't even have a name for when I was that age. But now we're starting to pinpoint these things through modern medicine. We can see the patterns, we can name it, and children have more outlets now. And when you know something and you can't get it, and you're getting bombarded by people all around you that you can't get it just because of who you are, because they have preconceived notions, they think it's dangerous, they think it's bad, when science says that it's safe, and science says that it's not just safe, it's beneficial, and when the evidence supports that overwhelmingly. But unfortunately, the parents have the final say if they want medical treatments. That's fair. Unfortunately. Because the alternative would be to be a gross violation of parental rights. And also, but don't get in the way of other parents who do affirm gender and who do understand the safety of medical transition and who go through the proper channels and who go through the proper process that is medically researched, medically understood, medically safe. And it's always can be better, but if you're going to get in the way of that, then it's not going to get better. You're going to prevent research. You're going to prevent safety. You basically want things to go backwards, and we can't. The door has been opened. We can't go back. Okay? And especially the youth. When I was like 12, I started to have feelings that I didn't understand. And I went through my entire childhood not knowing what that was. And when I finally knew what it was, I was 18. And there was also stigma back then in 2000, in 2006, 2007. I was like 18, 19. There was still a lot of stigma. There was no path towards medical transition, really. Not unless you had a lot of money. There was a lot less understanding back then. Yeah, there is a mental health epidemic. People got really up in arms about the COVID vaccine. Nobody brainwashed me. Nobody told me I was trans. In fact, it was the opposite. People tried to convince me I was a man, and I tried to live by it because I didn't know that what I was feeling was gender dysphoria. I was confused. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was just something wrong with me. And to be fair, it was multifaceted because shocker, life is multifaceted. Life is not black and white. I am autistic. I was also coming from a chaotic home, from a neglectful and even abusive environment. But I was also going through gender dysphoria, and gender dysphoria was not understood at all when I was that age. It was not talked about, not positively at all. It was discouraged. And so I didn't even think about it. I was just like, well, I can't, that wasn't even on my radar. Because I thought it was wrong. Because I was raised to believe that it's abnormal. And that if that I can't be that way. And I didn't even think about it. Until I was getting older. And it became harder to ignore. The more evidence piled up. And once you know, you know. And then I went back in the closet. But I still knew when I was in my 20s that I was forcing it down. Once you know, you can't go back. Were you born like this? I don't even know what that means. I was born as me. And I happen to be a complex human being that happens to have a very rare dysphoria issue that I have dealt with medically. And I've moved on. But unfortunately, the rest of society is not caught up. And I have to deal with the fallout of that. Because I've already moved on. I've already had my surgeries. I'm happy with who I am. I love who I am. It took all that work to finally accept myself. And now I do. And it's glorious. But the rest of the world has a hard time catching up to that. And I have to deal with the fallout of that. But that's a different problem. That's not about me anymore. Now it's about other people. And I can't change other people. But I can try to fight for it. What I'm trying to say is that people do not understand the reality of what's going on, and yet they're fighting up in arms as if they knew, but they don't. In fact, a lot of the times they're just outright the opposite of what's actually going on. Their fear is that people are being brainwashed. Their fear is that people are transitioning before they're ready. Their fear is that people are, just doing it because they think it's easy or because they think it's popular. The evidence points to the exact opposite of all those things. People are going to constantly pressure you not to be trans. You're proof of that, if that's what your belief is. If your belief is that people are being brainwashed, the fact that you're coming at it so angry and so vehemently, that is the majority of opinion, is that people should wait and see, right? That's been the historical thing for trans people. Is that people say, oh, wait till you get older, you might change your mind. And then you go through puberty and you can't change your mind without consequences. You have to go through puberty and then you have to try to undo it. Now you're dealing with double dysphoria because now you don't have regular dysphoria that you could have prevented. Now you have dysphoria that other people forced you to go through. And now you have to deal with that too as an adult. Which unfortunately is the case for a lot of people. But do you understand how much friction there already exists to being trans, that if it gets to a boiling point where you come out in spite of that, because it's so much easier socially to not be trans. I don't know where people get this idea that people are brainwashed, because if anything, we're brainwashed to try to be cis. Like, we're brainwashed to try to be the gender we were assigned. We're encouraged to be your assigned sex. Encouraged to be your biological sex. Whatever that means. This basically sounds like conversion therapy. That's what people have been doing for most of human society in history. And it has not changed people from being... Like, it has forced people to accommodate other people, but it can't change who someone is. Do you understand? You can change someone's behavior. You can't change the person. They're still going to be themselves, and they're going to resent you for it. Just because their behavior outwardly changes doesn't mean you've changed them. You cannot force somebody to be someone they're not. It's just not possible. People have too much willpower. People have too much sense of identity. You can't do that. It's not about whether or not you should. It's just you can't. People have tried to brainwash people with different drugs, and the body and the mind reject it so deeply. It is not possible to brainwash somebody. You can say, oh, but you normalize it. You normalize it. Well, you normalize it for the people who are already a part of it. You're basically saying that it's okay to be gay, because you're not saying that you're not like encouraging people to be gay. Well, if anything, aren't you encouraging people to be straight? Isn't that weird too? And if it's not weird, then why would encourage people to be gay be weird? And that's not even what's going on. People aren't encouraging people to be gay. They're saying it's okay to be gay. And yet people are constantly being encouraged to be straight. They have and to be, binary gender, of like assigned gender. You have baby gender reveals where you have like blue or pink fireworks that almost burn down your house. I don't know why I'm talking about all this. This is all really divisive content. It's old discussion points. I don't know why you guys are bringing this to my channel. I'm going to shut it down right now. And I'm sorry to bring down the vibe. If you want to talk about that, go elsewhere. Because I've already dealt with this. I've already moved on. I already know who I am. I agree with science. I agree with common sense. I agree with human decency. And if you are going to have a problem with any of those, don't be shocked when you get blocked. Like when I ban you from my chat. Don't be surprised. Because I am not going to put up with it. Oh, thank you, Doran fan. Sorry to get that conversation. It's like this conversation kind of went to a place where I didn't want it to go. And I think we need to take a step back. I think we had a good time. We played some soccer. I think it was fun. And sometimes you just kind of give yourself a little bit of a reality check. That, oh, I need a driver update. That's why I was having graphics issues. Yeah, there's an NVIDIA update that needs to happen. Would you stream Marvel Rivals? Is it free to play? Yeah, it's free to play. I can install it. Maybe we'll play it next time. Anyway, I think we had a good chat. I'm sorry that it got into a political place. Usually when you play games like sports, it gets us like a little heated up. We get a little bit lost in the sauce. We get a little heated. Okay, it's normal. I feel like when you play competitive games, that's kind of like what happens. Yeah, it's like Marvel Overwatch. I'll give it a try. I've seen people get into it, and maybe we can get into it. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a breather from World of Warcraft, and kind of just been doing just chatting. We've been doing art streams. I've been doing drawing. Today we played some EA Sports FC 26. And we'll continue to play that when I just like kind of want to have something in the background that's like something people can enjoy while we have conversations. It's kind of what my stream is. It's not really about gaming. Like sometimes we play chess. Sometimes we play World of Warcraft. Sometimes we just have the camera like this and I'm just chatting with you. Sometimes we play other games, random games. We're going to go through every single Resident Evil at some point. I'm going to go through every single Baldur's Gate at some point. I have Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. And then after we do those, we'll go through Baldur's Gate 3. At some point, we're going to play Skyrim. Or Oblivion. I think at that point, we're probably going to have a vote. Which one people want me to play first. Either Skyrim or Oblivion. They're you know, Oblivion came first. I mean, I did try playing Morrowind, but I kind of want to move on. Like, let's go to Oblivion or to Skyrim. They're fundamentally different, so I think I would leave that up to a vote for my viewers to decide which one I play first. But I think we will probably play both eventually. And World of Warcraft is not going anywhere. World of Warcraft is kind of a steady like MMO that we will continually come back to. I am only level 61 warrior right now. I think I'm approaching level 40 on my priest. Skyrim, yeah. We might play Skyrim instead of Oblivion, to be fair. That's where I'm leaning, but you know, let's let the viewers decide. You're not a real gamer if you only played Elder Scrolls Online. That doesn't make you not a real gamer. The fact that you play video games makes you a gamer. Do you need to be published in a New York Times best-selling author to be a writer? Do you need to be a, like, famous artist to be an artist? Just because you don't play a game that people agree with doesn't make you not a gamer. And we got our yerba mate. Over here. Got our yerba mate. Nice and concentrated right here. And we finished all of it. Well, except for that last drop. Ugh, it tasted like coffee. Because I didn't wash it out all the way or something. It's gonna sound so oh, I just read that. Am I crazy? Here's the thing. A lot of people don't really particularly understand what I do as a streamer. I am what's called a just chatting streamer. What we're doing right now is the content. And it might evolve over time. That's the beauty of just chatting, is it's flexible and you can fit all sorts of different types of content. I am a performance artist. I am a very charismatic person when I want to be, or when I kind of go the extra effort sometimes, but I'm also very community oriented, and there's multiple approaches I take to my stream, and I'm still trying to find out what the balance is, and we might never find it. That's kind of what the adventure is, right? In life, it's not about getting to the destination, it's about the path. It's about the journey. Yeah, I will be playing different games. I think Marvel Rivals is probably a good one to play next. So, I think tomorrow, like probably tomorrow afternoon, Pacific time. I'm here in California. I think tomorrow afternoon we're going to check out some Marvel Rivals. So if you're going to be there at that time, around this time, basically. If you're going to be here around this time, we're going to play some Marvel Rivals. So, check it out. But, you know, I want people to understand, I am not a WoW streamer. I am not a Marvel Rivals streamer. I am not a chess streamer. I am not a FC 26, you know, like, soccer streamer. I am not a Resident Evil streamer. I am not a Silent Hill, like, I'm not a horror game streamer. I am a streamer. I am a just chatting streamer. It's about my performance, whatever that includes. Sometimes it's a lot more casual and there's gaming involved. but that can shift. It's almost like we're in like a lounge, right? That's kind of the vibe I try to get. Sometimes I do this little meta analysis of what my stream is. It's kind of like a gaming lounge. With sometimes we're not gaming, sometimes we are. Sometimes it's more focused on the gaming, sometimes it's not focused on gaming remotely. I know it's hard for people to fully understand that, but that's what it is. And hopefully people kind of, come around to it. That's kind of, I'm kind of inviting people in, and I'm saying, this is what we do. We just hang out. We're like a gaming lounge where people are not pressured to do anything. We're just hanging out and chatting and possibly playing games. And I feel like that's like a pretty good vibe, in my opinion. It's the vibe I create. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out what works. There's a lot of stuff I could be doing more, and I want to be doing more, but I can't because of limitations. My physical space is not conducive to doing what I really want to do. And I could be making more content that I really want to do, content that could get me a lot more success. And unfortunately, we have to bide our time for a little bit while longer. I should be moving out within the next few weeks, hopefully. Fingers crossed, not making any promises. But it seems to be moving forward pretty rapidly. And I can only hope that it does. And they're going to do whatever they can to make it happen. So I can't really ask for anything more. I don't have a choice. So that's really all there is to it. I hope that people enjoy my vibes. Tomorrow we're going to be playing some Marvel Rivals. I'm going to be giving that a go. I can't promise I'm a very good gamer, but I will try to do my best to give a welcoming, warm, open vibe, where we sometimes have conversations that are a little difficult, that some people would shut down 100%. I honestly don't know if there is a middle ground that can be reached, but I'm going to strive for it, because people should be able to talk about difficult things and, within reason, and have like moderation, rather than just outright banning or outright 100% allowing. Like, I don't know why we have to be so black and white. Life is not a game of chess. Okay, it may be as complex as chess, it may be competitive sometimes. It doesn't have to be. And I think people make things so black and white because it's easier to hold conceptually. Like, either you're for us or you're against us. It's often way more nuanced. And I want to do my part to put the nuance into the universe, because the world needs more of it. Especially today. Like, these days, people are so divided. And the world needs more people like me, who are mature enough and patient enough, but also respect themselves enough to be able to kind of see the little nuances. The line in the sand is not one place, it moves. And that's just reality. It's okay, but don't play chess. Chess is awesome. I've been playing chess since I was a young child. Okay, so like, chess is not going anywhere. In fact, I'm going to be ramping up chess when I move. I'm going to be going to chess tournaments. I might get chess coaching. Okay, chess is not going anywhere. I don't know if we're going to play on stream a lot, because sometimes it's hard to play chess on stream because it takes away my focus. But if I do feel in the mood and I want to play more socially, and or analyze games or something, or do just some puzzles while hanging out, or play viewers for fun, like, that's a little different. Or if I start getting to a level where I want to actually start doing coaching, then streaming can become a part of that. But I'm sorry to tell you, Sam, I am a chess player, and that's not going away. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna take a leave here. I'm gonna head out. Okay. I really appreciated your guys' patience with me and your energy. I appreciate all the people who are respectful, and all the people that I timed out or banned. I'm apologizing, but there's a certain level of decorum here that I'm trying to run, and I hope that you respect that. This might not be the channel for you. So That's just how it goes. Not everybody is gonna fit in. You're pro, but it's boring when you're streaming. It's not always boring. Some people really like it. So it might be boring to you, and you're entitled to your opinion. So I'm not gonna argue with that. Anyway, thanks for showing up. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the discussions. Thanks for being patient with me. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.